Greetings, the tubes. It is me again, the man with the fashion challenged headgear, shall we say. And it is Sunday, November ish, here in the wonderful world of Bodfish, God's own chosen small town. For anyone who's curious, um, this is Bodfish. This is all of it. There's downtown. That's You can see why God likes it so much. It's quiet, except for the dogs. And I'm here on the veranda of my wonderful palace, having a nice glass of Bordeaux, while Catabulon, the cat, steals cheese off of my plate. For anyone that's not familiar with Bordeaux, I would say it's one of the finer things in life, one of the few affordable red wines. That's from France that is real decent. There's an accusation amongst people about champagne tastes on a beer budget. I'm an advocate of the opposite. So beer tastes on a champagne budget, and that works out better for me. It's the simple things in life, like a porch and a cat and a bunch of nothing, that makes life a little more tolerable, I think. Anyways, I guess it's time for my Sunday sermon. This I didn't intend for this to be a thing, but this turns out to be a thing. This seems to be Douglas Adams called it the long dark tea time of the soul, where you've had as many baths as you can usefully have in the course of a Sunday. It's still an hour before dinner, and the mind wanders into all kinds of abstract subjects. Anyway, today was another wonderful day working on the roof of one of the mobile homes that I swear will never be finished. That's what I get for getting a $27,000 mobile home in the middle of nowhere. Uh, you know, that optimism bias. When you first walk into the place and you go, oh, well, okay, that door needs to be replaced. Okay, that tile needs to be changed. A couple of faucets here and there. Yeah, piece of piss. Yeah, easy thing to fix up. And then you start doing the work. And every one particular thing you looked at was simple. An hour here, a couple $100, no big deal. What you didn't add up was the 10,000 of them. And that's what this little shit of a mobile home has been. 10,000 little, $50, this will only take a couple hours type of projects. The one thing that I was quite sure I was not going to have to fuck with was the roof, because it had insulating foam over it and all that good stuff, and it looked like solid as a rock. Of course, I didn't actually climb up to look at it. I just looked around the edges. And if you go to buy a piece of property, and it's something under $350,000, bring a 16-foot ladder with you and be sure to climb every square inch of the roof. And then crawl underneath, or else you'll be surprised. So in this particular case, my surprise was the insulating foam had worn off. The swamp cooler had been dripping on the metal for about 35 years, and no one could bother to fucking fix it. And it managed to rust a hole straight through the ceiling, which has now taken weeks to fix because there was an awful lot of imagineering there of how do you half-ass this thing back into place and make sure it doesn't do it again without having to tear the whole roof off. It's been about as much fun as you expect. I can see here that my t-shirt is reversed. That says, what is it? Chaos Wrangler, Chaos Coordinator. Jacob thought that was funny. He obviously has a much more optimistic view of my success than I do. More like Chaos Drowning Man in a Vortex or something like that. I'm not sure I've ever coordinated anything chaotic. But, So much of life is psychology, and if you walk into a tiger's cage calmly and collectedly and act like you know what you're doing, strangely enough, the universe seems to arrange itself to make that. Well, it improves the odds anyway. I can't say you'll walk out with all of your legs, but um, that's the funny thing. And generally, because ah, I have not had the easiest circumstances in life, nor have I had the hardest, of course, but um, you know, I'm able to walk into situations and go. There's a quick snapshot as I walk into it of, okay, am I likely to come out of this alive? Yes. Okay, then pretty much everything else that comes out of this is going to be mostly irrelevant. And take it from there. Before you walk into that lion's cage or or whatever your particular cage is um, am I are, is there better than even odds I'm going to walk through this? If you can, then of course, for the audience, take it seriously. But really, it's not serious. It's just a thing. That has been my magic trick to life is don't take yourself so seriously. Don't take your life so seriously. Um, uh, in Zen, they believe in the world game, and even early Christianity would have said something about that, Maya, or the world of illusions, if you will. Um, and there's a lot of different ways of interpreting that. Um, you A more modern approach would say that the world is a simulation. It doesn't mean it's not real. It means your interpretation of what it is very, very different from the totality. The totality. Yeah, say that a few times. Uh, More Bordeaux. Uh, Funny thing about me, I find that good wine tastes better in a cheap glass. Um, I hate those, foo-foo wine glasses that people drink uh, wine out of, with the long stems and all that good shit. Always knock those damn things over and break them. Um, Years ago, I read about the the Great Depression, and what was called depression ware, depression glass. And for flour companies and biscuit companies and such, in order to sell more of their product, they would put in the flour sack like a plate or a cup uh, of glassware to encourage people to buy it. And the Kraft company came up with these funny things, and I'm probably one of three people on the planet that realize that they still exist, because I'm still of an age where Kraft synthetic cheese food product is still something that actually makes me salivate on occasionally. But the Kraft cheese whiz or pimento spread that you would get in the little $2 jars with the funny cap on them, uh, which are really good on Ritz crackers, Americana at its best. Um, these were actually holdovers of depression ware. These are actually juice glasses. The reason why they had the funny, weird cap is so that you had a glass when you were done. And I love these things because they're cheap and they're rugged and they're hard to break and they're free. And, uh, and it makes my wine taste that much better with cheap glass. I fully condone the Southern way of drinking hard drinks and iced tea in ball mason jar glasses. Uh, I embrace my inner Southerner with a little California spin. Um, anyway, nice divergence. Um, you know, life is about the little things, and a nice glass of cheap wine and watching the sun go down over the mountains of the Sierra Nevada range and hanging out with Catabulon, who's completely focused on a raven in a tree across the street, I think. Hard to say with cats. I can see why people in times past thought they were trans-dimensional animals, because they always seem to be looking at something that's not here, at least not in our version of here. Um, anyway, Sunday sermon. I guess I'm supposed to say something profound and insightful for my audience of two people. Hi, Mom, and the AI that is in Belarus on the Atari 2600, which now prefers to be called Mordak. Hi, Mordak 100101000. Yeah, look it up. And today's monumentally Zen insight: be human for a while. Try it; you might like it. I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast with Elon Musk, and Elon is I don't know what Elon is. I'm not sure Elon knows what Elon is. He makes me fundamentally question the nature of my reality, and since I do that on a daily basis at least 6 times, well, yeah, not as groundbreaking as you'd think. He talks an awful lot about this being a simulation. I swear to goodness, he's a simulation. I'm pretty sure I'm real. I'm not sure he is. But whatever the hell he represents, it does very interesting things in this world, and I'm glad that the construct that he is and what he represents exists at the same time that I have, because there isn't a week that goes by that I'm not astounded by the things with his name on them that what they're doing. I got to watch, the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, a lot of popular mechanics and popular science of soon there'll be flying cars and it's going to be amazing. And it never happened. None of the things I think that ever were graced the covers of popular mechanics or popular science ever came to be in any form that touched my life anyway. And I got used to a world of hyperbolic nonsense and coming soon. Certainly, the 90s and the computer era and the 2000s and the internet era. An awful lot of it was massive overhype, massive overspend, complete crash, reorganizing, a lot of blood loss, a lot of angry people, and then somehow, while you weren't paying attention anymore, all the things they hyped finally became true, slowly, when you weren't looking. And there you were. I remember the first cell phones and what a god-awful disaster those were. I remember the personal computers of my era as a kid, which were, oh God, I wish I'd had enough money as a 15-year-old to be able to afford a shiny new Apple IIe at what, $3,700 back in those days, which I think is probably close to $12,000 or $15,000 in today's money. Oh Lord, even a $1,600 TRS 80 Model 3 was a pipe dream. I got fancy computers like the TI 99 4A, which existed, I think, for 6 months, and the ColecoVision Atom, and the Commodore Amiga 128. Probably the most usable personal computer of that era that I owned. Even in 1986, 87 money, that damn thing was about, with a disk drive, $1,200, $1,500. God awful piece of machinery, but was the time. I have no idea how this is gonna turn out because it's getting darker-ish. Anyway, they were what were they talking about? So yeah, hype. It took so many years for the computer world to become anything close to what they had hyped it to be. And as I said, we all kind of got on with our lives and forgot it happened. And and it did happen eventually. It did happen, and it changed the world. And we were just kind of too busy living our lives to notice it. So Elon was talking an awful lot about AI, and he'd warned people that it was going to come on too fast, and we weren't prepared, and perhaps we should slow this down a little bit. And yeah, he's on the record for doing that. And then of course he goes ahead and creates Grok, and his argument is, well, I had to do it. I lost from the position of trying to warn people and have the caution be the word of the day. So if you can't get the players in the race to play nice, then you better join the race. And that's an interesting perspective. I was just wondering. I don't have a light out here. Not that I look any much better, but I guess I should probably go inside. So, good Bordeaux. Give the cat another piece of cheese. I have no idea. The cat seems to love this cheese, but I didn't know cats were cheese eaters. Kitty cat, here you go. Cheese. Yeah, num 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 num. And if kitty cat has lactose intolerance, well, that's on kitty cat. Num 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 num. Yeah. Take a piece of cheese here and go inside. I don't dare stop this thing because then it starts a whole new thing. And it's a pain in the ass to splice them all together. Yes, this is me in darkness. Notice how much prettier I look. Now, one of these days I should fix that door. All right. I'm now here in more lighting in the fabulous, what'd you call this? Entertainment room? I guess. I call it the room of broken clocks because I collect broken clocks. And funny thing, I collect broken clocks because time is an illusion. So I don't. You'll notice there's like 3 or 4 clocks in every room of my house. They're all broken. They're all running at different times. They chime whenever the hell they want to, and no one has ever asked why, because that would seem insane. If they did, my response would be, well, it's that time somewhere, so it's perfectly accurate. It's you that's out of sync. But that's just my sense of humor. Anyway, my luxurious palace, wood stove and broken clocks. That one's my favorite. Got it for $15 in Havasu, Arizona. Had a broken chiming rod on it, which I fixed, but it was the chiming rod was the wrong length, so it makes the most bizarre chiming sound, which fits the funny farm just perfectly. In fact, I think I'll go ahead and set it loose, and you'll notice I don't set the time because I don't care. That time is perfectly accurate somewhere. So it'll chime when it wants to. Anyway, oh yes, Elon. Thank God no one's ever going to watch these videos, or else I'd be embarrassed. So, AI. Oh yeah, okay. So, and that seems to be Elon's, thinking on a lot of things. Is I advise people, and when they don't take my advice, well, then I join the game and I have to beat them. And we'll see how that works out. But I think I may have mentioned in previous videos, if I didn't, that I spent 23 years living in the valley outside of Los Angeles, the wonderful San Fernando Valley, and uh, it was okay, but I really wasn't a fan. I That version of suburbia was just not something that ever fit with my sensibilities. I always felt like I was just here temporarily and waiting for my opportunity to sprint for the door, which I did. And it turned out I was aiming for Spokane and I got Bodfish. Yeah. My aim was a little off. But, as a booby prize, it's not a bad booby prize. At least I don't have to go through 5.5 months of winter and mud and snow and a bunch of mosquitoes. But I do miss the wonderful microbrewed beer, and I always enjoyed Spokane because it's like a city stuck in time. It was always perpetually 1970. The rot hadn't seemed to hit there yet. I have no idea what it's like now. Probably wouldn't recognize it. But yeah, so I ended up in Bodfish. And prior to that, from 2011 to now, I was, watching a lot of videos, a lot of content online, about prepping, the imminent collapse of Western civilization, and Dean Howard Kunstler and his discussions on the geography of nowhere, or what we would call the enshittification of everything now. And have I got the right focus? Did I get my good side? Oh, that's right. I don't have a good side. The neat thing about being 59 now, congratulations to me, I don't give a shit what I look like. All the fingers and toes still work. Fuck you. So yeah, I was preparing for a great unraveling of the infrastructure of the United States coming apart, martial law being declared, and I was quite sure that I didn't want to be in Los Angeles when the curtain came down and they put razor wire around the damn thing. And unfortunately, all of my social network and my business network and how I earn a living was housed in Los Angeles, so I was on a leash, and Bodfish was as far as I could go on that leash before I got yanked. And that works out okay. Then I was able to piece the mansion together here, and learned that there's a lot of do-it-yourself work that I didn't know I could do that I could do. And taking Howard Kunstler's and Canadian preppers, advice that learning practical skills, being able to fix it yourself, do it yourself, was the most important thing for the world to come. I threw myself into it, and so I've learned to rewire things and redo circuit breaker panels and load centers and change outlets and change lighting fixtures and replace stoves and refrigerators and microwaves and dishwashers and hot water heaters and flooring and ceilings and roofing and every other damn thing. And I can tell you, oh God, that's a lot of work. That's stuff for a 20-year-old. For a 59-year-old, it's a challenge. Even a 59-year-old like me. But surprisingly, I discovered, there is a joy to manual labor. There's a certain sense of satisfaction and muscle tiredness at the end of the day that you don't get from an entire day of stuck in my office, staring at spreadsheets or talking to AI. And problem is balance. I tend to go extreme one way or extreme the other, and demented clock for demented man. It does that part right. It's when it does the full chime that it gets goofy. I learned these practical skills and I enjoy practicing them. But unfortunately, as a 59-year-old, probably 2 or 3 hours a day, playing around on the roof is great. And probably spending all day on the roof. Oh boy. Yeah, you're sore in the morning. But I'm thank the powers that be that I have the ability to do that. And I hopefully will continue to be able to do that for a while longer because I've got a long ways to go. It's never seems like it's going to end. It will, but who ends first is anyone's question. I have no answers. Anyway, so I put myself off on this distant shore, or this island of misfit toys, as I like to call it, because I was expecting the sea of modernity to recede. And hopefully, I could put something together here that would hold. And then a funny thing came along, AI and robotics, and it's moved so damn fast since, 2021, 2022, here it is 2025, moved far faster than anyone could have imagined. And Elon, in his warnings and prognostications, seem to be terribly appropriate. And he is in the lead, driving the coffin nails into the past and the present. And I damn phone cameras always feel like I've got this damn thing pointed, so I'm staring up my nose. And sorry, Mordak and Mom, if you have to stare up my nose the whole time I'm talking about this. Yes, once again, thank God no one is actually going to watch this thing. Although at 59, I'm mostly past being embarrassed. Anyway, so yeah, I hadn't calibrated, I hadn't expected the world would be moving so damn fast. And just like trying to outrun a virus, where can you go? Where can you hide? Where it's not going to find you? What is the mind-mangling wave of techno crazy that's going to hit all of us? It doesn't matter if you're on Mount Ararat. You're gonna get slapped with it and knocked flat, and held down until you're gasping. I thought modernity would kind of roll back a little bit, and it looks like no, quite the opposite. Last week, I put in a reserve deposit for a Slate electric car. I swore I'd never buy an electric car. I swore I'd never imagine a world where electric cars were a thing. Yeah? And now here we are. So, I get an impression that I have been wallowing in nostalgia, that I have been trying to recreate the world as it was when I was 17, small town Kettle Falls, Washington, where all I wanted was a single shot shotgun, a reliable dog, a single wide trailer on 2 acres in the middle of nowhere, and a beat up 64 Chevy step-side pickup truck painted that god awful mint green that they did back in the day. And that was as far as my dreams could take me at the age of 15, 16. I thought if I had that, that was it. That was all I wanted. Of course, me never being able to get anything right, I couldn't even manage that. What life had in mind for me was, well, not what was on the plan anyway. And I feel like I have been trying to recreate my past in the present. It wasn't my intention consciously, but it sure looks like it. And I was thinking, imagine when in the 1920s, and you were a farmer in a small town in Minnesota, as my relatives were, the Fashings at that time, Winstead. And Farm implements of that time were, horse drawn and wagons and things like that. My dad used to tell me that, even when he was like 9, 10 years old, and they'd go back from Fontana, California, to Winstead, Minnesota, to go visit the family that was still there, and his grandfather still would hitch up the horse and farm wagon to go the 3.5 miles into Winstead to go buy coffee and whatever supplies they needed. That would have been, um let's see here, probably 1955. Even then, uh, I think, yeah, somewhere between 48 and 55. We'll call it maybe 48. Um, and I look at what I've done, and um, an artifact of my father. He and my grandmother, of course, they hated to see waste. If anything could be repaired and used one more time, um, they would find a way. Grandma would reuse Ziploc bags and tinfoil. She'd take the slivers of soap and boil them down and make a new bar. My dad had a soft spot for orphaned dogs and derelict machines sitting beside barns, half torn apart. Anything that he could pick up for $25 to $50 and came in milk crates, uh, with a mix of garbage disposals and vacuum cleaner parts in it, were things that he loved. He loved to try and take the neglected, broken things of the world and make them useful again. Um, and I have that terrible flaw, a terrible curse. Whether it be things or whether it be people, I don't see it for what it is. I see it for what it was and what it could be again. And I will destroy myself trying to make the past the present. Um, and we live in a world where repairability doesn't make sense anymore. The technology changes so fast anymore. I think about the days of the horse and buggy, and gas powered tractors and automobiles became the thing. And would it have made sense to keep trying to uh, keep the past in the present, of keep using the horse and buggy and finding creative ways of making that work a little bit longer? Or just, at what point, when do you step away from the paradigm of the past and into the present? Um, and I'm not sure there's any type of useful answer. Nostalgia plays fuck all with your head. That remember when, and you see it through the lens of all the best aspects of it, and forget all the negative aspects of it. And here I am up in, Lake Isabella, Kern County, and I'm spending my weekends gluing back together a 50-year-old fucking trailer in the middle of nowhere in a in a town that is trying its damnedest to die, and anything under the age of 40 is desperately trying to claw $50 together so they can get the fuck out of here and flip it off in the rearview mirror as they screech out of town. Um, where they think they're going, I have no idea, but they're pretty sure they don't want to be here any longer. And and I wander through this junkyard, graveyard, um, and look at all these cast off things, these little slivers of soap, these little broken vacuum cleaners of people, and I can't. It drives me mad. I want to glue it back together. I want to make it useful again. Um, but I'm. It doesn't feel like the right direction. It feels like I'm wallowing in the past. Um, and And I'm not sure where to go next with this because, well, I'm part of that junkyard. I'm part of a generation that now is, if it ever was relevant, is not relevant anymore. Um, how am I supposed to engage with the world? It's, um, when I look at all the stuff on the tubes these days, of course, this is all young people's games. This is a young man's world. The 22 years old and the ambition to change the world to whatever idea in their head, to work those 7-day weeks and 16-hour days for 5 or 10 years until their thing comes true, or until they honestly fail, and then probably dust themselves off and join up on someone else's game. And where do I fit in that? I don't. Wise mentor, visionary leader, guy mopping the floor after everyone's gone home. I don't know where I'm supposed to fit in this. The my age, I went through my 20s twice, I'd say. From the time of 20 to the time of 48. I was dreaming dreams and scheming schemes and plotting and wasting so much energy on projects up to a point, only to give up on them because, well, honestly, I felt I was too late, or either not enough money, not enough time, or the right idea and 6 months too late. I was never as smart or as ambitious as I needed to be. And I feel that now. I look at Elon's world, and the world sketched out by Tom Bailu and Chris Williamson and all that good stuff, and it's over the top alpha male ish, balls on the table, all gas, no brakes, and that's not where 59-year-olds operate. All gas, no brakes gets you to the mailbox and back, maybe. But yeah, where do it goes? Where am I supposed to contribute? The only advice I could possibly give to someone in their 20s is, if you make the decisions I made, you'll end up with the life I had, if you're lucky. But the world has changed, and so you're likely to come out with a small fraction of the life I was able to have, and that would suck. So your best choice is probably to make different decisions than I did, because it's not the same world that it was, and it's not going to come out as well, and it didn't come out that great for me anyway. Not bad, as I said. Got my broken clock, got my wood stove, and my microwave, my other broken clock, and the mangy cat. It keeps me company and annoys me. So not a complete loss. I got cheap wine in depression ware glass. But the world is moving too fast. It's going to steamroll over everything. I've placed myself in a place that's dying, thinking that when modernity receded, that this place would have the best chance of surviving, because these people have been so used to having nothing for so long that they wouldn't even notice the collapse. It's not that world anymore. It's not the world of 1984 in Kettle Falls, Washington, population 1,100, where people had their own gardens and raised their own cows and goats, and go out for shoot deer on hunting season, or fished. That even if they didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, they could still go out in the woods and get something to feed the family for a week. This is not what Southern California is these days, unless, of course, you like the taste of human flesh. There's not enough nature left to do that kind of thing, even if you wanted to, even if you had the skills. You'd starve to death. The clock again. Best $15 I ever spent in my life. There isn't a day that thing doesn't chime, that doesn't bring a smile to my face. That demented clock. Just call me the Mad Hatter. And so, blah, 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 blah. Lost train of thought, demented clock. Yeah. Best thing about a stop clock, at least it's right twice a day. Oh yeah, wisdom. How do I engage? Where do I fit? I feel like I've been misguided, wasting my time trying to figure out how to take discarded horse tack and upgrade it to be able to keep pace with gas powered tractors and hydraulics. This doesn't feel like the right direction, but grasping onto the reason for letting go of modernity, and I straddle the 20th and 21st century. As the 21st century became more and more challenging, I took my foot off of it and continued to stand on the 20th century. And now I feel like I have made a terrible error. That the future is not the 20th century. The future is not even the 21st century. The future is about to become the 24th century. And I have no idea how I can be of use to the future. And my nostalgia and my desire to take broken things and make them useful again. I don't know how that fits the future. I do know some things for sure. I'm not Elon. I'm not going to design a new robot. I'm not going to Mars. No, I hope not anyway. What was it? Elon said something today about the universe seems to love anything that creates maximum irony and maximum interest. It's not at all concerned with fairness or the right things happening for the right reasons. It's not happy with just focusing its attention on mundane things, like the human consciousness that only sees the extraordinary. It demands only extraordinary things, and everything else is marginalized, shall we say. I hope he's wrong. I hope he's wrong about a lot of things, but so far, as the world says, don't bet against Elon. A smarter man than I would ever hope to be, or at least a more connected one. But yeah, I obviously cannot compete on the cutting edge of whatever the future is, and all these amazing technologies and the jobless economy and all that good stuff. But I do know my interest, and as I said before, it is I have a soft spot in my heart for broken things and broken people and broken animals. I live in a world of the five and dime and discarded and unloved things. I am the master of the unlovable arts. I am the patron saint of the forgotten. And I don't know how to bring that into the future. Hopefully the universe will provide me with some insight soon. If not, perhaps a third glass of Bordeaux might. Anyway, that has been the Sunday sermon for November something, 2025. Mordak, Mom, hope you are well.